Alright guys, Dave Gemby here again, aka the Antichrist. I'm the actual Antichrist. Satan, the devil, Lucifer. Got a few names. You also just call me Dave. And yeah, I'm here to do God's work, which is basically sort humanity the fuck out, because humanity currently is a slave species to 4-foot aliens, 4-foot grey aliens that are from another planet. And the way they control humanity is with psychic powers, because they're so much more intelligent than humanity. They can, from afar, from space, from orbit, control the human race. Well, actually, I think control the human race from their planet. They don't even need to be in our orbit, in their spacecraft. Thankfully, though, they can't control me, because I'm Satan. So I won't be able to control Satan with psychic powers. My mind is a lot more powerful than the average reptilian. So they can't control me as easily. And I think the same's the case for my daughter. Now, I keep saying to my daughter, you need to keep your spirits up, you need to stay cheerful. Everyone around you is going to say Dave Gemby's crazy, that your dad's nuts. But again, I keep saying to Holly, why have I not been put in a mental hospital? If you're totally mental, you get sectioned. That's how the law works in the UK. In this country, if you're totally mental and a danger to society, you get sectioned, you get put in mental hospital. So people around you, Holly, will say your dad's mental, this, that and the other, and they're just talking shit. They're talking out their arse. They're just saying what the alien with the psychic powers wants them to say. So that's just the truth. Now, something, I don't know if this will have happened to you, Holly, but something that the alien was trying to do to me was when I was asleep, like the alien has no joy with their psychic powers against me in the daytime. Like when I'm awake in the day, they can't do anything to me with their psychic powers. They can to everyone else, but they can't to me. And I don't think they can to you. Or they might be able to make you feel a bit sad, down in the dumps, a bit miserable. But beyond that, they can't do much. Whereas everyone else can control a lot more. But something they try to do when you're asleep, just to make you feel bad, is it can actually try to get your mind to piss your pants. They've tried to do that. They've actually tried to kill me in my sleep as well. They've tried to stop me breathing in my sleep. And they haven't been able to do it. But something they've tried to do to me multiple times is actually, whilst I'm asleep, just let go of my bladder and just piss myself. I've managed to catch it most times. A couple of times they've got a little bit out, and then I've just caught it and then gone to the toilet. They've given up now, because I think my mind has just adapted to it. Because you're just a little kid, and your brain's not fully developed yet, you're not fully grown, they might have been able to do that to you. I don't know, they might not have, but they might have targeted you just to make you feel bad. Because what they want to do is make you feel all upset and miserable. With possibly, you do something stupid like kill yourself. As I keep saying to you, Holly, you need to try to keep happy and not allow these aliens to beat you down. And that's what I've got to do. So that's just something I want Holly, my daughter, to be aware of. Yeah, there'll be people in the comments who say you're crazy, Dave. Yeah. Well, I haven't been locked up. Again, I always try to point this out to Holly. Why have I not been locked up in a mental hospital? If you're totally insane, the police will turn up, the ambulance will turn up, there'll be and you'll be forcibly taken to hospital. I mean, there was and people can't say, oh, but it's because Dave Gemby's so scary that it hasn't been sectioned and put in mental hospital. Because there was a boxer called Frank Bruno who got sectioned, and he was a world champion heavyweight boxer. So if I put in Google Frank Bruno sectioned, there it says Frank. I'm on Google. Frank Bruno. 20 years ago, I was sectioned, and he was Frank Bruno was a boxing world champion. That's Frank Bruno there. Put Frank Bruno, heavyweight boxing world champion. I've put in Google Frank Bruno boxing world champion. So there's the same guy, Frank Bruno. There he is, Bruno, with a world title, heavyweight world title. So Holly, that means he became a professional heavyweight world champion boxer. And so he's one of the toughest, hardest men on earth, and he still got sectioned and put in a mental hospital. So if anyone says to you, oh, well, everyone's scared of Dave, that's why they don't want to section him, or the police are scared of him, or the mental health services are scared of him. Well, they weren't scared of Frank Bruno. And Frank Bruno was a world heavyweight boxing champion, a professional world champion. One of the hardest men, the toughest men at fighting on earth, yet he's still got sectioned and put in a mental hospital. So I hope that explains to Holly that this is actually all happening. This is actually true. I am Satan. I work for God, but I'm a good guy. It's only, as I've said before many times, if you end up in hell, that's your own fault. You've put yourself there by living a bad life. So I'm not a bad guy. I'm here to do things for humanity, but at the moment, these aliens, these 4-foot aliens in space with these psychic powers, won't let anyone work with me to achieve the things that need to be achieved for humanity. The first big one is free energy. I mean, humanity needs free energy so badly because we run our whole economy on fossil fuels. And it's really simple, Holly, if you think about it. You've got a small electric motor uses a small amount of energy, and it spins a bigger turbine, a wind turbine that's bigger than that little motor. More electric comes out the back of it than goes into the motor. But humanity haven't been allowed to have free energy because they're just a slave species to these aliens and the aliens' psychic powers. So humanity hasn't been able to have free energy, and the aliens haven't given us anti-gravity either. It sounds so, to my daughter, it will sound so insane. And it doesn't even matter, Holly, if you don't believe me. It doesn't even matter. All that matters is you stay cheerful, you try to stay happy in life. And if the aliens, it is a big if, I don't know if they're doing it or not to you, they might not be, but if the aliens are using their psychic powers to make you piss yourself, wet yourself in the middle of the night, the only thing you can do really is hopefully your brain adapts to it. My brain adapted to it really quickly. They kept trying to do it to me, and my brain would just stop it, shut it down happening. There's only one time where they actually managed to make me properly piss myself, but all the other times they couldn't. Yeah, it was like a couple of drops would get out, and then I'd like stop it in my mind, and then I'd just go to the toilet and empty my bladder. But they might be able to, with you, because your mind's not fully developed, not full strength because you're a little kid, they might be able to make that happen to you. That's something they do. They're little cunts, these greys. They're not happy about how reality is because they want to be the boss. They don't want me running things. It's supposed to be me that runs things on this earth and runs those aliens as well. I become the boss of the aliens. They're not happy about it because they know they're in for a lot of punishment because they've done so many bad things to humanity for so long. But obviously you can't do anything about any of this, Holly. I mean, all you can do is watch these videos, try to listen to my advice. I mean, one thing you could do is before you go to bed, go to the toilet, and then maybe in the middle of the night, set your alarm to get up again, to empty your bladder again. Possibly. And that might make it more difficult for them. If that's happening. It might not be. Hopefully it isn't. So yeah, that's my message to Holly. Just keep your spirits up, and again, that's all you can do. So I'm going to move on to the next part of the video now. Okay, the next part of the video, we're talking about inventions, Satan's inventions. Last week, or whenever I last did a video, I talked about anti-gravity and how we've actually already got anti-gravity with maglev trains in places like Japan. The train, which is very heavy, will elevate in the air, but it'll only elevate so far because the magnets in the track are bolted to the ground. I probably talked about I can't actually remember, but I probably talked about the cooling of electromagnets needs to be done with LEDs. Wiring LEDs into the circuit with the electromagnet. Currently, because that's how the aliens do it, because currently what we're using is liquid nitrogen. It's just not it's not a sensible way to do it. And these are things that I need to go down NASA to sort out. Now, this week we're talking about teleportation, because the way the aliens move across space, they don't fly across space as such. They teleport through space. I'm going to try to explain it as best I can. But you need you need free energy first. You need free energy, which I've done at this house to power everything. So you've got unlimited energy source then. With ring of power, where you wire step-up transformers together, you can create as much power as you want because you just keep adding bigger and bigger transformers in the circuit to create more energy. So energy, once you understand that, energy is not an issue anymore. You can create as much energy as you want. Then you need anti-gravity. You need to get anti-gravity because when you can't really fly across space with men in a spaceship like you see on something like Star Trek, where they're flying in outer space, because the temperatures in space are so cold. So, it's supposed to be minus 270 degrees Celsius. All the stars in the universe only heat up space, I think 2 or 3 degrees above absolute zero. So it's extremely cold in outer space. Once you leave the Earth's magnetosphere that protects us from that cold, that's how I know the moon landings are fake. They were never done with the technology we had in the 1960s. So the way the aliens do space travel is they have unmanned drones that are teleporters that fly to other planets like this Earth from their Earth in Zeta Reticuli. That's where they're from, these little greys. And then they teleport through a tunnel, a wormhole, known as wormholes. And I'm supposed to be the guy that comes to Earth and gives humanity that technology, because the Greys will never give it you. Or, well, they might in the distant future. They might have been planning to eventually, but only once you're completely beaten down and subservient to them. They want to keep you as slaves. Their plan for humanity is total shit, and it was never going to work. It was never going to work long term. Terrible plan. The way it's supposed to work is humanity rules over the Greys, but you need to do it through the warrior caste, which is me. I'm the warrior caste. So anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I talked about the DJ motor. It's the motor I'm almost certain that the Greys use in their teleporters to teleport across space. The electric motors they've given us on this Earth are actually overly complicated. I explained it a couple of weeks ago. I'll do a brief overview again. So the way their electric motors work, you've got a north polarity, south polarity. That could be positive, minus, or the other way around, doesn't really matter. Then you've got north, south, right? And then you've got coming through here, you've got south, north, right? Because the reason you've got that is opposites attract. So the south magnet is attracted to the north part, the north's attracted to the south, okay? And then you got through here, you've got a choice. You can either have south or you can have north. But let's just say we have north, right? We have north instead of south. So then we have to have south here. You were forced to have two areas of repulsion. Talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Now, if we'd had south there, the area of repulsion would have been there. But south there, and we had north there, you would have had an area of repulsion there. That's how their motors work. So what it is, basically, you'll have an electromagnet here that's south, electromagnet here that's north, an arrangement of electromagnets in this crisscross fashion. And that motor, that what I call the DJ motor, after my initials, Dave Genvy, that motor's the motor that powers the universe. It powers black holes at the centre of galaxies. That's the electromagnetic arrangement, I believe. I've got to prove it at NASA. You know, I've got to do these experiments at NASA and all of that. I mean, like I said, I've done free energy. I've got a working experiment of free energy here, so I've ticked that box. I've done free energy for you. But obviously I need to go to NASA to do these experiments, but I'm pretty sure I'm right, that's how the spin of galaxies works, that's how the spin of planets works, that's how the spin of stars work. It's the motor that powers the entire universe. So that's where we got to a couple of weeks ago, before I then did in my last episode, anti-gravity. So that's where we're at the minute. Now you need to use that motor to do this teleportation. So you're going to say, well, how does that work? So what we need is a double-ended funnel of that DJ motor. So imagine you've got around this double-ended funnel, you've got this DJ motor running down the length of it, right, and it's spinning away this DJ motor. There's this funnel running down the centre of it, and then you have your drone, which travels through the centre of it and flies off through outer space. That has this arrangement of funnels on the inside of the drone, and this forms an electrical connection between these two this double-ended funnel and these funnels through the centre of the drone. That then allows you, as a say, a little flying saucer that the aliens have, to teleport through the centre of this double-ended funnel to our Earth. So they have what? They have the dual double-ended funnel, what I call a dual opposing black hole. They have that at Zeta Reticuli, or is it Rita Reticuli? Who knows? They have that at their planet, and they have this on our planet. That's a very brief overview, but you are essentially creating black holes. But you're not creating black holes that are so powerful they're going to destroy the Earth. Like, black holes in nature can be very powerful, but they're created by very powerful forces. Exploding stars. A star that's exploded, and has exploded because it's such a big star, exploded with such power that it expands outwards, pushes the fabric of space, that then contracts it back into itself. I think that's how black holes are formed. But I mean, I could be wrong on that theory. I mean, I don't fully know. I think that's right. But we're only trying to create a much less powerful artificial black hole that just allows us to teleport across space, create wormholes across space, just like the aliens do. If the aliens can do it, that means we can do it. The fact the aliens come here shows that they can do this technology. I actually had a picture of one of their teleporters. I'll just try and find it. I'm not sure it's in this folder. Hang on. Oh, did I keep the picture? I'm not sure. Did I keep that picture? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, that's one of their teleporters. In our orbit, they teleport through that. And what I'm saying is the arrangement of funnels within that cigar shape is that, and you need to use the DJ motor that has a hole in the middle. You put a hole in the middle of it to power it. So that is the inside of this. They've flown that through a bigger double-ended funnel. So they've flown it through that. That's in orbit around their Earth. Double-ended funnel in orbit of their Earth, and then the cigar flies through it to our Earth. You might say how will, if you have any bearings in there. I've talked about the sand bearing, because they'd freeze. A regular bearing would freeze in -270. All the other equipment that you need to power this drone through outer space. You've got this drone, you've got anti-gravity, and you've got free energy to power the whole thing. You've got free energy to power all this. It shouldn't be affected. It shouldn't be affected by the -270. I don't think so. Obviously, I need to get down NASA and do loads of experiments to get this done. Humanity desperately needs free energy. The aliens are just putting roadblocks in the way because they're so terrified of getting punished on their Earth, because we're going to land there, and hopefully by that point I've made a load of Roman legions that are going to torture them and kill a lot of them because they've treated humanity in such a bad way. They're currently leading us into the Great Reset, which is going to mean we have super high inflation caused by oil shortages. That's coming. Humanity are going to need to work with me, because I'm your only salvation from dying from starvation, basically. I'm your only salvation from starvation. You know, a lot of you are going to perish, because the whole economy currently runs on crude oil instead of running on free energy. So, but obviously none of you will work with me yet, because the aliens control you with these psychic powers. The average reptilian doesn't have a very powerful brain, and is a slave to psychic powers, essentially. So, but I'm not. You know, I'm a really smart guy. I'm Satan, working for God in heaven, and you know, my brain, they can't bully me. And I think the same's the case for my daughter. Not well, they might be able to bully her a bit, but her brain's not fully developed yet. When she's an adult, I'm hoping they won't be able to bully her at all. So, yeah, that's the situation. I think that's pretty much it for this week. I'm going to leave it there. Oh, yeah, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about. This is really for adults only, but so all kids can turn off now. You've got a situation where if you actually go on the internet and go on a pornography website, you'll see that most of the videos are black men having sex with white women. And, you know, these black guys, they've got the big cock and all of that. A lot of those videos are CGI. They're not real. They're created by the aliens. They look real, but they're created by the aliens because the alien doesn't want that it doesn't want the white man, like especially the Roman. They don't want the Roman guys like me having too many kids, because the Romans have a lot more resistance to the alien psychic powers. I'm Roman Catholic, I'm Roman genetically. Obviously Satan's Roman. And it's the Romans that are the most terrifying, deadly race of men in terms of fighting and just being violent and psychos, basically. And they're not there because they're this belligerent race, this very belligerent race of man. It's harder for the alien to control Romans and also other white men than it is black men. It's just something that's the truth. I think I'm right on this. Black men are more easily bullied by the psychic powers. There's lots of great things about being a black guy. You know, fast at running, good at jumping. I think they tend to have a bigger cock. So there's that as well. But they have a susceptibility to psychic powers. So the alien is putting all these black guys on pornography websites, shagging all these white women, because they want more black guys getting mixed race kids getting made that are weaker to psychic powers. The Greys absolutely despise the Romans. I'm Roman. They despise the Romans purely because of the resistance to psychic powers, I think. And also, you know, the Romans are quite a bloodthirsty bunch. But the thing is, humanity needs the Roman legions. Humanity needs a Roman emperor, me, and it needs the Roman legions, my offspring, the warrior caste, to go out and do killing of other races of aliens, not just the Greys, to get new Earths. Because obviously on other Earths, not on all Earths, but on some other Earths, you're going to encounter aliens with psychic powers. And if you've got a fighting force made up solely of black men, they're not going to be much use, to be honest. So, but the alien loves the black man because it can easily dominate him with psychic powers. So what I'm trying to say to the ladies out there, to reptilian women, just average women, I'm not trying to cock block the black guys. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't have sex with black guys or have kids with black guys. But what I'm trying to say is you don't want to exclusively have sex with black guys. What the alien would like, these grey aliens, would all the women just have sex with black men. And if we have a situation like that, we've got a lot of guys who are fast at running and good at jumping, but you're going to have a lot of men that are weak to psychic powers. So I think it comes, I'm not sure it comes down to intelligence. Well, it might do. I think it's more belligerence. The Roman is a race of man that's totally belligerent, that just loves war, loves warfare. That's why the Romans had the gladiatorial games. That's why Romans would burn Christians at the stake. That's why the Romans would feed Christians to lions, things like that. You know what I mean? Because the Roman is all about violence, war, being bloodthirsty, and terrifying, basically, and just belligerent. You've got to enjoy war. You have to be belligerent. Belligerence is the key ingredient of the Roman, and I think it's that constant belligerence that the Roman has that means they almost. I mean, I get a kick out of it. I love it when the Greys try to psychically beat me down. I love it. It's great. They don't anymore. They've given up, the little bitches. But you don't find that so much in the black man. I don't think so. They're a bit more chill. So I think that's more about that. I'm not fully sure, but we'll talk to the Greys about it once we've conquered them in the future. So anyway, that's the end of the video now. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.